and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. This is a fantasy / historical movie review, and I'll be having a look at the movie Escape, or at least that's the English translation to this Norwegian film. That's right, this is a foreign language film, so if you're not interested in reading subtitles, then you may want to give this one a miss. So as I mentioned, I call this a historical / fantasy movie review. It doesn't take place in a fantasy landscape as such. It really takes place in sort of, I guess, the dark ages, medieval ages in Norway, but it's not a historically factual story, so therefore I'll class it as a fantasy / historical. Anyway, so this takes place around the time of the Black Death, and half the sort of Norwegian population has apparently been wiped out by this plague. And our story starts with a family of 4 trying to escape the plague and kind of get off to a new start somewhere else when they're attacked by bandits, and they're all killed apart from the young daughter, who's kidnapped by this group of kind of pirate types, and their leader, this female warrior called Dagmar. They're just taken back to their sort of camp, and they want her to be this surrogate sister to this sort of small girl that they have in the camp as well, which we initially assume is their daughter. But of course she escapes along with this sort of other little girl, and turns out that, well, we don't really know where she's come from. She's an orphan of some description. We don't know if these pirates have killed her parents or not. It's just a story of them trying to escape this small band of sort of pirates that are sort of after them, and their escape into the sort of into freedom, really. So the story is fairly simple. Now, first the good points. It looks fantastic, this film. I love the way it's shot. It's some good camera work here, great direction, a very artistic looking, beautiful to look at, beautiful scenery and everything like that. The acting, difficult to tell with a foreign language film, because obviously I don't know how they're kind of pronouncing their sort of acting and stuff like that, so it's difficult to sort of really tell, to be honest with you. To me, looking at foreign actors, it seemed like they're all pretty decent actors. Obviously you've got 2 sort of child actors here, and to me they properly sold it. So especially the young one, I thought she was very, very good. The bandits themselves, I think there's about 5 guys, and the sort of leader, who's this female called Dagmar. And I had a look at the actress who plays her when I did some research for this film before this review, and she looks very different in real life in this film, I can tell you. Anyway, they're kind of chasing these kids down for pretty much 2/3 of this film. And I guess the main criticism I'll have with this film is the bad guys, to me, or I'll call them the bad guys, these pirates, just seem to be really dumb, I thought. And I didn't really understand their motivations or kind of what it is they were really doing. I mean, they were just following this woman, this Dagmar, who was clearly nuts. She was just kind of sacrificing her men ultimately to try and find these kind of girls. It really didn't really mean anything to the rest of them, because they weren't related or anything like that. And I thought, why would people follow her? I thought maybe she was going to be some kind of royalty at the beginning, and that's why were following her. But no, it's not the case. And I just don't understand why people. And I'm not being. This is going to sound a bit sexist, but in these types of days, I can't imagine there was too many female leaders in this type of scenario, unless there was some kind of royalty or some kind of naturally born into that sort of role, and that isn't the case here. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that's going to be 100% historically correct, but I'm sure there are examples of it. But for the most part, it's going to be men who are going to be the ones in charge here. But let's just say, for example, that this female is in charge, and that's historically correct and everything. She was clearly deranged, so I don't know why anyone would follow her. And then on top of that, we have these kind of like these bandits just trying to run off on their own and do stuff without alerting their kind of comrades, and kind of getting picked off. And I just thought, oh my god, these people are just acting so dumb, and they're kind of getting outsmarted by this kind of little girl who has had no combat experience. So it was kind of a little bit stupid, I thought, in that respect. I liked the film, I enjoyed the film, but where it kind of had this sort of realistic edge and kind of gritty feels to it, the bad guys, or this group of bandits, just seemed way too dumb. I just didn't really understand where they were coming from. We get a bit of backstory for Dagmar, the main villain, I suppose, but the rest of them just seem like mindless idiots, I have to say. But it was an entertaining film nonetheless. Now, I mentioned obviously it's a foreign language, and there isn't a hell of a lot of dialogue in it, to be honest. So, you know, it's not all too hard to sort of keep up if you're not really a fan of the sort of subtitle sort of type films, you know. So it isn't too bad to sort of keep up, and you kind of, obviously it's fairly obvious what's sort of going on. An enjoyable film, but that one sort of thing really bugged me, I have to be honest with you. So I'm going to give this film a 6.5 out of 10. It was a decent enough film, well made, but maybe just a little bit of an issue with that. So 6.5 for me. Have you seen it? What do you think? Leave me a comment. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.